you all know that this card is totally artificial. That didn't exist until the 1830s.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Nancy Seychelles. I'm the author of Gaining Ground, A History of Land Making in Boston. Boston almost certainly has more made land than any other city in North America. This is Boston at the end of the Revolution. A little land making had been done around this original, very small peninsula that was connected to the mainland only by this narrow neck. This is essentially the original Boston Peninsula. Boston's solution for this need for more space and more land was to make it. And they made it by filling in the tidal flats that surrounded the original areas. Tidal flats being areas that are covered with water at high tide and exposed mud flats at low tide. The way they made land in Boston was really simple. They built a structure on the flats around the outer perimeter of an area to be filled, and then they just dumped in fill behind it until the level of fill was above the level of high tide. And that's all it took. They just collected whole cartloads of trash and dumped them in. We find big collections of shoe leather, or wine bottle glass, or broken glasses from taverns, things like that. Boston was famous for having a number of hills on it. Most of those hills were cut down to use as fill. It was relatively easy, it was available, and people didn't give it much thought. What's now the Seaport District began as a harbor improvement to build the seawall around the South Boston Flats. The harbor commissioners thought that they were building a major port terminal with piers that would be served by railroads. Actually, what happened was they filled this whole area with great enthusiasm, and then it lay just basically empty for 100 years. It was the last really big undeveloped part of Boston. The problem was they only filled it just above the level of high tide. With sea levels rising, the level of high tide is a lot higher, and therefore it's subject to flooding. This is Faneuil Hall. It's one of the most iconic buildings in Boston. It's really considered one of the most important sites in Revolutionary era Boston. This area, like most of the areas of Boston that is on made land, was only filled above the level of high tide at the time. That's all they thought they needed to do. So all of these areas of made land are subject to flooding with sea level rise. This whole area was a big cove. All of this area was originally tidal flats. In other words, where Faneuil Hall is all man-made land. All of this was water.